Is there enough light? That's it. Hi everybody, how you doing? It is Friday. Happy Friday. Uh, what is it? 10:10, right? Okay. There's a video out that Erica Kirk did with some guy named Tyler, right? I don't know if you've been following it or not. So it's in the movie Snake Eyes, and then looking at Erica, she's got these like snake eyes. Um, and then they arrested this kid named Taylor, or whatever, which I think they framed him because there's other evidence that we've seen that he wasn't the person. I'll just put it that way. So I'm thinking what is happening here is that I've realized, in my 60 years of life, that this is like all scripted. Everything is scripted, and the people that they pick for these roles, just like the rest, I think it's the wrestling or whatever, Hulk Hogan and them, those were also, it's kind of like their rituals. And now I understand about the world stage, even being put on it, so we're probably like really lucky because we're on the world stage, but we're like the audience, and we're in our own world stage, like my own world, your own world that you're living in, that you're creating, that you're projecting out. But so Charlie Kirk, okay, so how do I say this? First, before I forget, what my train of thought was this morning, drinking coffee, listening to the rain. Everything has been raining. And it's a dark, gloomy day too. That's kind of freaky. So as I'm smoking my cigarette and drinking my coffee, and I'm just going through these thoughts about the world, and this world stage. And I got to thinking about, see if I could move my hand without shutting the camera on. I got cramp on my hand. I got this around my neck because I have ointment around my neck because I had this shoulder pain really bad. It's going away, thank God. So about this born in sin, and how heaven is above us, and heaven is above us, and we got to try to reach to get to heaven, right? Through our works, through our faith, through our life experience points, right? And I got to thinking about, for the last few years, born in sin. You got to get to hell. You got to get through hell to get to heaven. And that's always made me think about this world and the sinister things of this world. You can be, eaten by an alligator or a lion or whatever. Anything can happen. You can get ran over. It's just, it's kind of like the world of death, but yet they bring light on it to, keep. I think it's to keep a balance down here. It's like our right and left brain. One's positive, one's negative, and you got to keep a balance straight in the middle, where God resides right in the middle of that third eye kind of like thing. It's, for the new subscribers, how I see God is God. Well, God sits right here. Well, goes straight down to my heart, right, and down to my gut, and everything past my waistline, down to my feet, or like Hades, right? Then you've got God, who has the keys to heaven and hell. So his name's Yeshua, starts with the Y, right? Which is called the Yod in Hebrew, which Yod, Y-O-D, means the arm of God. So it's kind of like saying we have like this invisible cord that comes straight down into our third eye, and then we got our pituitary and milk sac, and then that drips down right directly into our heart and bloodstream. Um, and then, of course, our gut is very important too, because that's our sacral chakra. Our gut is what protects us. That's why if I would have known about that long ago to protect my gut, the foods that I eat, and didn't drink so much, and just all that kind of stuff, of how sacred some of these our organs are, probably all of our organs, because we are the mirror reflection of our world. So you got the dome above, which is our crown. So it's just so simple, right? So anyway, I was looking at this before I get off on tangents. The We are born in sin. We're born kind of like in this hell. And the reason why I say that is because we're living our day to day life, just like this. But there's also another world, a darker world within this world that we can't see with our visual eyes, but animals can, like cats and stuff. They can see like these figures, ghost figures and stuff like that. You see plenty of it online now, whether people are actually carrying got cameras all over their house, and they've got portals that are coming through their ceiling, their mirrors. There's like this shadow person that was coming out of their mirrors. So that's why I got my hallway mirror I used to have on my door. I got my door open now, so it's not coming out this way. It's because it's true. That's why I think they focus on the water a lot, how the water is a portal. And then you've got the mirrors, like Alice in Wonderland, where she walks through the mirrors, or if she falls down dark holes. The dark holes are like going through wormholes. Um, Time traveling, I think that's pretty much what that kind of thing is. But that's what I was thinking about. So we must come down to experiences, because I remember in my sessions with God, it's about life experience, and I had no clue what life experience meant. That's when I first heard about it, was in 1996, and what was life experience, right? And then if you look at the symbols of life, the word life experience it's XP. Well, the XP represents the Christogram. So it's very, I mean, that's where I started really waking up and trying to look at that. And I'm like, well, experience means to experience life. But the points, I was just not understanding the points part of it until to this day, the last few 4 or 5 years, whatever, I realized what the points are. It's, from my perspective, the points part is like, going through a situation that you're struggling through, and you're still holding on to your faith, and you're figuring out ways, you're listening to God, and because you always have to take action yourself. It's like God can help you within this world, but once he gives you the information, you actually have to go in and sign up for something. You have to research it. You have to write it down. You have to do the work, to get there, to receive whatever you want, to change or whatever. Um, and then once it starts playing out, and then all of a sudden the doors start opening, everything just starts coming to you, and all of a sudden you've overcome that situation. Now you're in that situation that you wanted, and so that's like a point. It's like you struggle with something, you want to change that, you ask God, you get information from God through your dreams, through just something that just pops into your mind and you're wondering, how did you think of that? Why didn't you think of that before? That type of situation. And you just react on it. And then once you achieve it, you're just like, okay, I understand what that means. That's experience point. So I struggled with something, I asked for it, and I received, and I actually had to do the work to get it. So, and now I've overcome it. So that's a point for me. And, or an addiction, I had an addiction, in my 40s and stuff like that. And then alcohol addiction, um, all, that, I was doing cocaine. So, put it out there. I did it for about a year, and I think I mentioned this before, but what got me to get off of it is because I mentioned to you guys before that I'm kind of vain, about my looks, you know, um, just how I am. I've always been that way all my life. But when someone at work starts saying, "Oh, you're looking really skinny. Oh, you're really hyper today," or you just seem a little bit out of it. All these things start add up, and I'm just like looking in the mirror, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got, and that was, I mean, it was so interesting because after that, and I think that's another reason why God never let me get rid of my vainness, is because I can easily just stop what I'm doing, and heal myself, replenish myself back up, get myself back looking good, or whatever, to overcome that, and then I do that. And then, of course, people automatically notice, they're just like, wow, you seem back to normal. Are you on medication? Did they give you medication? I'm just like, no, I just went through a phase. I'd never tell them. I just went through a phase. Just wasn't taking care of myself, stuff like that. But, between me and God, it's what I'm going through. Just like, you have to have a personal relationship with God. Remember, I think it's the last chapter of the Bible or something like that. He's in Revelations, I think it's God says, um, many will call out my name and I will walk away because I do not know them. So it's like, that's another thing I picked up from my grandma, because my mom and aunts, they always had to go to church, always had to go to church. My grandma would fight them on it. And she's like, no, the house of God is your house, the body. And then she'd also refer to her house, where the food's at, where we can talk, where we can, celebrate, we can have fun. Um, but they always had to go to a church. And so I remember my grandma always having a hard time with that, trying to teach her kids, even her adult and older kids, right? No, because of course, they get caught up in their own little ways because we all have free will. Um, but that's where I was thinking when I was out smoking a cigarette, is that we're actually living in hell, because even though things look normal to me right now or around us, but things happen, like the lights flicker at a certain time of the night, or certain things in your life will go wrong, especially if you, I'll notice if I kind of get an attitude, um, or I'm not paying attention to how I'm reacting to people or anything, um, I'll something will happen to, or all of a sudden I'll realize why something has happened to me, because it's kind of like, once something happens to me, I'll laugh, because I can, whatever's happened to me at that moment, I know I like see this image in my mind of what I did or how I've reacted to somebody, and I just have to laugh and say, "Oh, forgive me." I hope those people or that person forgives me or whatever. I'll just say it out in my mind or out loud. Sorry, God. But it's quite interesting, and how when we're programmed in this world to look at it, because we also have to remember that God had told us the prince of this land is, the bad guy, that bad guy, whatever. Don't like mentioning his name. And God is uh, Jesus is the God of the sky, and then God, yeah, the God of the sky, and Father is the God of the universe, the heaven. So, and again, you got that three. You got the bad guy. You got Jesus. You got to get to Jesus. Got to get through Jesus to get to Father, to the universe. That's so interesting, right? And if you look at your your private areas, right? So your wasteland, or waste, your waste going down. Um, because they consider your privates, especially men, where it's sort of life source. Um, and life source is also, you can take it as creating life, right? Without man, you can't create life, because women only have the eggs. So, um, yeah. So it's like, you know, also, the four corners of the earth. I don't know if I mentioned it. So you got the four corners of the earth. It's got down by our hips, our waistland, and then you got up to here. So you got this total square right here, right? And then, so that's the earth, the four corners of the earth. And then you've got, okay, so it's like this would be the sky, and it's also the blue chakra, right? So again, that's kind of interesting how that works out. And so you got the sky, and then you've got the heavens above, the dome where Father sits. And then Mother is considered the eyes, and the eyes are the windows to the soul, and all that kind of stuff. But before that's why I wanted to share with you guys today, is how we are actually living in hell. We're born in hell, so we got to get through this. And I think it was on one of Taylor Swift's albums where she has her kind of skipping like Alice down this little windy road, and then she's in a book, right? So one page of the book is bright and sunny. She's skipping down a road, and then the other page is dark, and it's got these guys like Reaper guys, for judgment, and it's dark, and the plants and the trees are all dead and everything, and they're just like watching her as she's skipping through. And then, because they're kind of telling us in the world what's going on, and then we have all these paranormal activities that are going on, and then you have people talking to the dead. And I think that's another reason why in Scripture, where God says, "Don't do any of the sorcery or any of that thing," because it just pulls these things into you, and they're closer than what we think. It's like they're overlaid with this, or they're constantly walking around us. And I think that we're veiled. The veil is put up, blinding us from that. And possibly in the last days, when the veil actually gets lifted, everybody's going to be able to see it. Unless we, of course, those that probably get lifted out, maybe those that are getting left behind, which I think there's movies about, or a series I heard yesterday. There's a series called Left Behind, Those Left Behind, or something like that. Now, there's a channel called Wallytron 101. That's Wally, Wally, Tron, Tron. It's one word, 101. Now, he makes videos here and there, but I think I mentioned him, or maybe I didn't, on another article. What's that guy's channel? I went to it yesterday and I couldn't figure out which one. His channel, oh. It's not the right part right there. Okay, never mind. So, getting back to um, the government shutdown, right? Happened. So on 10/4, 10/4 is just like, remember a couple of years ago, I think in 2022, they did the emergency broadcast on 10/4. Well, this year on 10/4, and it says 12:49 Eastern Time, was published, and it's got the big purple letters that say total blackout, closed for 24 hours. 7,700 locations of Wells Fargo. And Wells Fargo, so you got the stagecoach, right? It's kind of like, remember in Back to the Future? That's interesting because that just popped into my mind. In Back to the Future, they go back to the Old West and they pull up to a bank of Wells Fargo, and it shows the Wells Fargo coachman and everything. Maybe that's also meaning leaving. But it says total blackout, closed for 24 hours. Well, on the 13th, it's for the 13th, I do believe, and it's Columbus Day. Then there's another article that says total blackout in black letters on another page that I was trying to show you, but I can't remember the guy's channel name, that I seen a couple of days ago. And it says Columbus Day. And then it says closed, and it says this, the Wells Fargo 7,777 is usually related to God. Then you got Three Eye Atlas. So I think on Columbus Day, so it's interesting because Columbus was, some people have different feelings about how Columbus discovered it, and it was already discovered, all that kind of stuff. So you had Columbus come over and discovered America, right? The new land. And I think that's also another clue to Columbus Day, a new land, a new heaven, new earth, new land kind of thing. I'm just going off of it. And then Charlie Kirk's birthday was October 14th. Interesting, George Floyd birthday was October 14th, different years though and stuff. So what else? Oh, and then Trump they had it on a post yesterday. Oh, it was on, let's see here. Mark Allison, I think that. Trump's announcement, October 10th, 5 p.m. should shock the world. Oh, maybe it's October 10th. I thought it was October 15th.
How's everybody doing?
President Trump is scheduled to make an announcement Friday at 5 p.m. Oh, I thought it was the 15th. Oh, that's interesting. I'm looking, it says Friday the 10th at 5 p.m. I wonder if I got the 10th and the 5. I wonder if my mind added it. I don't know. That's really weird. But let me check it out.
Get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready. Hope everybody's doing well. 144, my number.
Oh, that's the time he's making the video. He made it at 1:44 this morning. Now, I'm going to try to jump through here and see if I can see any other. Oh, and Dan Scandino Jr. I know you all know who he is. He's worked with Kash Patel. I think he got hired onto them, that kind of like thing. He put out a post.
Insurrection Act. This is, Dan just posted this 3 hours ago. Sum of all fears singing.
The sum of all fears. Now check this out. I went and looked that up online. The sum of all fears. And remember, he just, Trump just put out a post about don't fear the reaper kind of like thing. So the sum of all fears, it shows Ben Affleck and what's the other guy's name? Oh, I forgot this black guy's name. Oh, Morgan Freeman. So it's that movie right there. And it's interesting because it's kind of like showing black and white. I wonder what the moon phase is. I wonder if it's going to be half black and half white. That type of symbolism. But the movie is about, based on Tom Clements' novel, the espionage thriller tracks a sinister plot to draw the United States and Russia into World War III. The Russian president suddenly dies, world tension escalates, coupled with missing nuclear scientists and the threat of a nuclear detonation. Isn't that just bizarre? It's kind of like they're giving us clues of what's going to happen or what to expect. There's somebody else. Oh yeah, here it is. So notice the date, 15 October. It's all about a radical move I believe Trump is going to make as soon as October 15th, one that could shock the world. And let's see what do you say. And what I learned gave me the chills. That's why today I've decided to give a rare interview breaking down something I believe every American needs to hear, especially investors. It is not about terrorists, crypto, or the Fed, or anything else you're hearing about from the mainstream press right now. The Gateway Pundit report from the White House insider: Trump is planning a radical move that could shock the world. Now let's see. Oh, here's the part. It's about a radical move I believe Trump is going to make as soon as October 15th. Okay, because I believe it could single handedly reshape the global order dramatically, increasing U.S. power and trigger a massive American market boom, the likes of which we haven't seen in 75 years. And it says down below in a big red box, it says President Trump himself said this is all about one thing: igniting. This is the word he uses: igniting what he calls the most extraordinary boom the world has ever seen. And then what I tell you about the sum of fears, where it's about a Russia and America, and just pretty much nuclear bomb going off. I think this what they're doing is they're giving us encrypted, and then you've got then this other one right here. The whole point: DC insider warns Trump about the unleashed final step in his plan. So he's getting a warning. I think that's with the Insurrection Act or something that Trump has been pushing. Yeah, here it goes. The Ben Delarescence, the Gateway Pundit report from Washington. Now, that's what I was saying. Possibly might happen on the 15th or whatever. So we'll check. We'll figure out what Trump's going to announce today. So today oh yeah, in that video that I didn't finish, that Tyler and Erica Kirk, there's some band. Tyler band and Erica. Maybe this will come up, but let's check it out. Tyler Robinson. No, wait a minute. That's the guy that they got. I wonder if they're not going to show it. She's in a band. Or she wasn't in a band. She was part of a Erica Kirk video. Maybe I'll put video. No, I can't find it now, but I'm sure you can find it online. Because in that video where she's on a what do you call can't think of it. It's like when you're sitting on some type of swing and you're sliding down, going through the air, some type of swing kind of like thing where she's going to all these malls and stuff. We're up on the wall. You can see glowing 9, 10, and then the next one shows 10, 10. And it's kind of interesting. Today is October 10th, so 10, 10. So what could happen today? And then we have Trump's announcement at 5 p.m. I don't know if anybody's looking at that. So maybe